Thursday to everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week. I sure am having a great week. Most of the week anyway. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to join us as we wait. We'll chat a little bit. We're going to talk today. It's still topical of COVID, but we're going to talk about some of the scams that are running around out there. Not just scams. We're talking about individuals doing, some of it might be accidental, indirectly, but we're seeing a lot of people landing themselves in hot water due to these COVID-19, and a lot with what we're seeing with the SBA, a lot of the loans that were given out, and the mismanagement, I believe, from the government. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. While you're waiting, make sure you subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications so you know when we're going live. Also, text the word YouTube to 76626. That will put you on our notification list. You can come in. Everybody say hi to Shelly. She's getting ready to walk by. Say hi, Shelly. There's Shelly. So yeah, we're going to talk about that today. Also, we're going to try something new, and this is untested yet. I haven't tried it yet. We have a bunch of new software and hardware that we're using. As you can see, we've updated microphones and whatnot. So anybody that wants to call, if they have something that they want to share with us, as you can see, got the banner going across the screen right here. If you want to send me a text first directly to our phone, 509-434-4695, just like the banner says. If you have something that you would like to share live with us, we can actually call you after you text us. I'd like to know what you're calling about so we don't get crazies calling. But we can do it live on the air. We can hear you. Won't be able to see you, but we can bring you on live, hear your voice. You can ask your question. We can have a little discussion about it. And if it's a really good question that others could benefit from, I think this is a great new idea that we're going to try to do on somewhat of a regular basis to test out the theory. So feel free. I'll leave that scrolling across the bottom of the screen for a little bit for those of you that would like to call in and talk about something related to what we're talking about. We don't need to call and talk about the weather. And if you want to send me a text and say hi, that's fine too. But let's keep it related to what we're trying to talk about today. And specifically today, we're talking about what's going on with SBA, these loans. A lot of these loans are great loans. If you're a small business owner, under 500 employees, which, I mean, that could be a large business, a lot of these individuals are getting loans. But we've been receiving a lot of phone calls over the last couple of weeks of people that think they're getting ready to get indicted. And most of them have told me that they've applied for these loans either for businesses that they don't really have, or they've used the funds from the SBA disaster loan that they received. They used the funds for things that were not related to the business at all. Like they didn't pay employees. They didn't do anything business related. They didn't spend it on advertising, and they went out and bought cars and wasting tons and tons of money. As you can see, the loan is relatively easy to get. Any of you small business owners out there that maybe your business is struggling, COVID has, caused some decrease in business. I believe as long as you paid your taxes in 2018, as long as you can show proof, and I don't even know what proof they're really requiring, but I can show you the application is real easy to find. There is a link in the description of, I'll put it right here for you guys too. Give me a second. Let me grab it. And I'm going to show you the screen here in a second for those. Wrong one. Loan disaster application. Okay. There's companies out there charging people for this, and they're taking percentages of the money that you're going to get. And it's so basic. You really shouldn't have to do any of that. Kyle, can I talk about Kyle? We are going to do another episode, Kyle, which I would love for you to call in and talk about that just as hardship of what people go through, but not on today's video. But I do appreciate you asking the question. Ruth, how are you doing? There was Kyle asking about, can you talk a little bit about his blindness? Ruth Spears, hello back to you, Ruth. Welcome. So let me show you this, guys. Let me share my screen. And let me go ahead and remove my fancy branding. So this is the application. And like I said, the link, I just posted it in the live chat. It's also in the description. So if you scroll down, you'll see right here. So if you are a business owner and you have under 500 employees, if you click to apply here, it will tell you what the requirements are. Eligibility verification. Applicant is a business with not more than 500 employees. Applicant is, so you pick which type of business you are. You follow through the process. Applicant is not engaged in any legal activity. You basically just follow through these steps and you go through it, and it is a no-brainer. How do I know? Because we did one about 2 months ago, not thinking we were really going to get much because, we're not a large company and I had no idea what to expect. And the SBA gives out relatively very good loans with very good terms. So I can see the enticement behind it. If there's ever a loan to go take, if you have a business and you would like to grow your business, I highly suggest clicking on the link and taking advantage of it. And I have nothing to do with the SBA. I'm not getting a kickback from the SBA. I can tell you though that the loans that they provide, and it can range. I've heard of people getting as little as 10 or 15 grand, and we've seen people getting as much as, a couple $1 million, depending on the size of your business. But you're talking like around 3% interest, 30-year loan, 12 months deferment. In most cases, it's like getting the size of a mortgage for a business loan at rates that you probably cannot beat. So take advantage of it. Don't wait, because who knows, because of all the crooks out there right now and it's all over the news right now. I mean, if you just Google, and again, I put a bunch of links in the description of this video, business has really been picking up for us. A lot of it's because these loans are out there now. And just like we have the Wall Street Journal talking about it. Small business disaster relief programs target a fraud, Watchdog says. And really what this comes down to, when you start reading it, you're getting people that are getting loans that either don't have businesses, or they're applying for loans for their business and not using it for their business, or you have individuals. I literally just had a phone call from a lady, which is what made me want to do this today. I just spoke to a lady on the phone that is terrified that she's going to get indicted. She's not indicted yet, but she applied for the SBA disaster loan and she received around $300,000 in several different people's names. And apparently these people don't know that she did it. I don't know if they're business owners or individuals, but she's absolutely freaking out. She used all of the money. I don't know her name. I don't know anything about her. So, she didn't give me any information that would have identified her, but she's looking for guidance. And the only guidance I could give her is you need to call an attorney as soon as possible. But she got over $300,000 and she spent it all in the market and lost it all. I think she said, I don't know if she said currency market. It was either currency or crypto market. I think she said currency, like Forex trading, but it's all gone. And now she's freaking out and she doesn't know what to do. And she's afraid to even talk to an attorney about it. This is what you're seeing. Now, when you hear the government and the SBA officials talk about it, they'll tell you that their guidance and their oversight and their fact checking and back checking on these individuals and how they're screening individuals is airtight. Clearly it's not, because we are seeing, Shelly sent me a link yesterday about a guy that bought I forget, he received like $3 million. He went out and bought fancy cars and businesses he doesn't even have, just applying. I mean, literally they're giving out so much money so fast. And I think a lot of it has to do with, this pandemic hit so hard and so fast that the government's trying to figure out a way. I got a scam. I don't know what the question was here. Let's see, who's this? Sorry, I was reading one of the text messages. Somebody sent in a text. I'll go back to that in a second. The government wasn't prepared. They tried to put something in place to help businesses, but because of the lack of oversight and the lack of preparation that the government had when COVID hit, all the money that they're giving out from the unemployment money that they're giving out is ridiculous. Just giving it out to anybody and everybody that applies, basically. And then the individuals that probably really need it aren't getting it. And now all of these con artists and scam artists and, individuals make some poor mistakes. I get it. Now it's probably going to affect what happens if this COVID thing doesn't clean up, and other businesses that maybe were able to survive through some of the storm are now realizing that the storm is not going to slow down. I think they may not have access to the funds. I was blessed to have access to the funds, and we didn't 100%. I mean, they gave us what if they gave me what they gave us. I can only imagine what other companies must be getting. And if you're reckless with this money, and if you don't think there's going to be oversight on this money, basically when you sign the loan agreement with the SBA, it's basically saying they can come in and audit you at any time. So it's almost like you're opening the door to the government, the IRS, to come in and watch what you're doing in your business. So you better make sure that you're spending the money on what you should be spending it on. And I would imagine payroll. I would imagine, if you're growing your business, advertising, we've decided to use a bulk of it towards an advertising campaign to create awareness for what we do. But we are going to see so many people get caught up in this that it's almost like handing a child a loaded gun without any control or any training on how they should use this. I was talking to Tom about this, and Tom agrees that this is going to be way out of control real soon. So guys, if you're out there and if you need a business loan, then take advantage of it and use it. But don't think this is, a way for you to go enhance your private life and pay off your debts and pay your mortgage off. It's very clear that you can't use it to pay off debts. It's very clear you can't lend the money out, and you can't use it to invest and make other money. So, you're not going to go get this money then and go invest in properties and flip your money. You can't use it to loan other people money at a higher interest rate. It's strictly for the growth and management of your business. Paying your payroll, paying your taxes. That's what the money is there for, to help you weather the storm as a business, not as some, it's not a lottery. You didn't win anything. So you definitely need to be very careful what you're using this money for. And just like I did, I would suggest that before you spend a dime of this money, you either consult a tax attorney, you get yourself a very good CPA that has experience in SBA loans. Everybody probably has right intent, good intent, but that desperation and that moment of weakness where you're like, well, if I just spend a little bit on this, or, I need to touch this up, or got to fix this leaky pipe in the house, whatever it might be, minute you go down that road, you're opening yourself up and you're walking into a door that might get easier and easier. And you have 12 months, you're 12 months of deferment. So I don't know how much looking in they're going to do in the first 12 months, but trust me, when they come and knocking, and they want to see receipts and they want to see where you've spent your money. And if you can't account for it, or you think you're going to print up some bullshit, you're setting yourself up for a federal prison sentence. Now, I should be happy about this because maybe my business will improve, but I do not want to improve my business off of people making mistakes that are easily avoidable. That's why we're talking about this. And you've got the Wall Street Journal talking about it. You've got Fox Business talking about it. SBA disaster loan investigation reveals rampant fraud report. I mean, it is just through, and I don't know, can you guys hear that? There might be a little story on it.
Never been one.
Here, give me a second here. I got my very cool headphones on. The volume might be a little loud. And soon as this, here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
I can remember this day a decade ago like it was yesterday because it was absolutely stunning. 10 years ago, I was on the air with David Asman, who was my co-anchor back then, as we watched the Dow Jones Industrials plummet abruptly nearly 1,000 points in just a matter of minutes. It sent traders and investors. I looked so much better back then. What happened to me? All right. Everybody was in a panic. It turned out to be what they call a fat finger trade during what was these horrific sort of protests in Greece during the financial crisis. But while the markets did recover very quickly, it helped reshape the electronic trading system that we all know and see today, because today, this system has upheld during the pandemic, which has been very, very tough on the entire market system. But the electronic systems handling paycheck protection and the program attached to it and the loan requests, boy, they've had their own problems and successes. But now the focus is turning to financial manipulation Is that a fancy word for fraud? That may be downright criminal. Let's get to Charlie Gasparino. Charlie, what are they finding? I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Breaking news. We reported earlier today that the DOJ is looking at financial fraud involved in the PPP program, namely applicants filing fraudulent applications, basically saying that they own a restaurant when they didn't, they have X amount of employees when they didn't. That there's some belief among federal officials that there is rampant fraud from the person, from the individual standpoint, that there are fraudsters out there trying to rip off the system. And because the rules written by Treasury were so obtuse, because the Treasury Department was trying to just flood the zone with money, a lot of these people got loans. Now, they often got it not from the big banks, Liz. Again, I know everybody wants to beat up on JP Morgan and Bank of America. The big banks know your customer rules. These loans probably and most likely came from smaller community banks that did not have the checks and balance do at the big bank. So this is part of the problem. We reported this earlier. What we know now, and this is fascinating, is that the Small Business Administration, on top of the Justice Department, is getting in the act. What they are doing is they're essentially on a hiring spree, from what we understand, to find people who could investigate the loans. Because as you know, the Small Business Administration, along with the Treasury, were the two government agencies involved in PPP loans and other small business loans designed to help small businesses get out of, at least have a bridge loan through the pandemic and through the shutdown. So now Small Business Administration's getting involved in the act. They are investigating. And on top of all that, you have several congressional committees. They are looking at the big banks. Wells Fargo came out with a disclosure today. But I can tell you, every single bank is getting subpoenas from the major, run by services, for example, run by.
Well, that's kind of interesting. So these banks are all getting subpoenaed for funds that they've given out. Anybody that's received them. I was reading a story, and I don't remember where it was, but here, let me go back to my screen here for a minute. I was reading a story. I'm going to leave the headphones on because I like the way my voice sounds in my head. Sounds pretty cool. A story of a bank that it received out of, I think they said they've received funds from the SBA for 97 different individuals or companies, and they believe 95 of them are fraudulent just from the type of money that came in and who the money is going to. So I hope none of you that are watching this right now is going to be wrapped up in this, but I can tell you, if you have gotten yourself involved in this, don't chime in. Don't say, hey, I did this. What should I do? Don't admit any type of guilt to me. You should be contacting an attorney. But I can tell you that if anybody is wrapped up in this, here's the question the lady I spoke to earlier today. So it was $300,000 that she got. $300,000 that she spent very quick. Within, I think, a month, the money was gone. She lost it in, pretty sure she said the Forex market, currency market. She lost the money, and she was asking, basically she was crying the entire phone call, to the point where I couldn't even understand what she was saying. And my heart went out for her, but I was like, in my mind, it's like, what do you think is going to happen? You applied for loans in other people's names without them doing it. And she was asking, well, what type of sentence is this going to carry? Is there any way that, if I go pay the money back? And she said she has no money to pay it back, but if she was able to go find $300,000 somehow, I don't know how you find money when you don't have it. But if she was able to pay the money back, would they let her off the hook? And just so you guys know, and many of you already know this that have been in trouble before, that once you commit the crime is committed. Yes, you're going to pay it back one way or another. You're either going to pay it back because you have the money to pay it back right now, or you're going to have criminal restitution where you're going to be paying it back, for the rest of your life after you go to prison. It's still going to carry a prison sentence. And in a situation with like the lady I spoke to out of California today, we're talking about she stole people's identities. So whatever the crime is that the feds are going to ultimately hit her with, in addition, we already know there's probably going to be aggravated identity theft tagged into that, which is going to carry minimum mandatory sentences of 24 months based on what her plea deal is, or cooperation or acceptance, whatever path she goes down. And she kind of said the other people that were involved, when I said, well, you took their identities, you stole their identities. She said for a moment that, well, no, we were going to split the funds. And then when she found out there's no way that can happen, that everybody's going to get in trouble, she changed her story and said, well, they didn't know. I don't want them to get in trouble. So I'm assuming these may be her friends. They might be family members. And now we're talking a potential conspiracy with aggravated identity fraud and embezzlement and wire fraud and all kinds of charges that they're going to get stacked up on her. And I told her, you really need to be having this conversation with an attorney. Anything I tell you is, bullshit coming from an ex-convict that went to prison. So don't take my word for it. You need to get on the phone with an attorney. You don't want to discuss this with anybody until you've discussed it with your attorney, because you don't know if you're being watched or monitored or phone calls are being recorded. So you call somebody up like Rdap Dan and, plead out your guilt and heart and what you did to me, and your phone is being tapped. And all of a sudden, I get a knock on my door or a phone call getting subpoenaed to testify against you because they know that I know information about a crime that you committed. So now you're making me, part of that crime. So definitely don't call up. Now you can talk to me theoretically. You could say, hey, what if this happened? What would somebody do? We can have a theoretical conversation. But until you've got your attorney attached, and what we've had a couple of clients do that haven't signed plea deals yet, or they're not indicted yet, but they do have attorneys, and they do want to use us for the guidance, is a lot of the times the attorney will hire us on behalf of the client. This way we can fall under some protection, so we can talk without fear of your calls being monitored, and we can have that protection under your attorney. So you do have options. But guys, if you're involved in anything like this, or you're thinking about doing anything like this, or you're desperate right now and you're getting ready to go to prison and you're trying to set your family up, don't do something like this, because this will come back to get you. And when you get out of prison, you're going to have new charges waiting for you. It's nightmare, absolute nightmare for anybody. And I can see how easy it is. I mean, when Shelly and I did the loan application, I did it just out of like, might as well fill it out and see what comes back. I thought maybe they'd give us, 5-10 grand. And we don't have a arsenal of employees, and a lot of the individuals are 1099. So I didn't know what to expect. And when they came back and said, you're approved, and for the amount they gave us, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh my God, if they're giving this to us, what are they giving other individuals? And if other individuals are thinking about it prior ahead, they might be falsifying documentations. They might be submitting things that aren't true. They really did no validation of anything we sent them. Nothing got verified. They didn't call the banks. They took what we gave them as face value. And I mean, thankfully we were 100% forthcoming. So if anything does come back, and I'm assuming we will be audited at some point on this, but we have a CPA and a bookkeeper that are tracking everything for that reason, because I'm not a perfect person. I don't want to make a mistake and do something with the money that I'm not supposed to, even if there was no bad intent. That doesn't excuse me from my actions, which is one of the lessons I learned from going to prison, that many of you can learn from, other people's mistakes. But as you can see, this thing is blown out of control. I forgot the numbers, but we're talking mega millions of dollars have been so far reported as fraud. And this is going to have a ripple effect through our economy. And it's going to have a ripple effect to the businesses that actually need the money. So stop fucking it up for everybody else, man. What do we got here? Let's see. We got some questions. Actually, let me see if I have any text messages. And Kyle, we're definitely going to save your story for a different show, my man. I know you sent me a text. Kyle says he could use that money to buy a truck. Let's see here. And Shelly, yes, I did take the dogs out. Let's see. What's up, Coyote? I got to make Coyote a moderator in this room. He's like the hype man. You should change your name to Hype Man, Coyote. Hype Man, the prophet. Coyote, telling everybody, hit the thumbs up, fella. You look just like somebody from Washington. He owned a barber shop in Washington. His name is Smooth. And you look exactly like him. That's why I asked you if you were from Washington last time. Ruth Spears, I had someone that stole mine. Stole your what? What did I miss there, Ruth? Better use that right away. What is this? Bitcoins. I'm trying to catch up with you, Ruth, seeing what you were talking about there. D. Sylvia. Let's see what she... Oh, hey, what's going on, D? D is one of our amazing clients going through a very trying time right now, who doesn't ever call us back. It was 10 years after incarceration. They changed it to a year. They are trying to get rid of that. I must have missed so much because I'm not sure what that was referring to either. But it's real serious, guys. This is we live in a time right now where desperate people take desperate measures, and the federal government is unforgiving. extremely unforgiving. So you have to really think about, is it worth it? And the lady I was talking to on the phone today that blew through $300,000 in, I don't know, 30 or 60 days. She just kept saying, why did I do this? Why did I do this? It was so stupid. It was so stupid. Same thing that I would say when I got in trouble. Same thing that many of you say, like, I can't believe I put myself in this situation. Consequences, actions have consequences. And that's the point of today's Thursday video. We've been very, very active this week with the videos. We've actually been going extremely active on most of our marketing tactics here. And yes, YouTube is a marketing tactic. I love talking to you guys, and it generates buzz. It generates information for you guys. Tom Root has been so resourceful. We're going to be doing a video next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, with Tom Root, because many of you are told by your attorneys, don't waste your money on a consultant. And not that that's bad advice, because there are some consultants you probably do not want to waste money on. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the pros and cons and some of the questions you should be firing back to your attorney when they give you this absolute statement. So we do want to talk about that, because some of you are afraid to cross the boundary with your attorney and maybe ask them some additional questions when they start saying they're going to do certain things. Like what are they going to do? Let's break that down and see what that actually means. Let's see here. Ruth Spears, identity. Oh, identity fraud. Somebody stole your identity. Gotcha. Yeah, identity fraud is big. You know, it's one of the easiest things to do, and sometimes people don't even know that they're doing it. Identity fraud is not just I used your name and applied for something. Identity fraud, aggravated identity theft, can come in many different shapes and forms. It can really sneak up on you, and the feds love when they have aggravated identity fraud on you, because it makes sure that the judge is not going to have a heart and let you go. It's a minimum mandatory, unless you can get outside of that with like a safety valve, which is what I told the lady on the phone today. I said, ask your attorney two things. Does it look like, if this were to go forward right now, she has not been indicted, she's going to talk to an attorney. Does it look like aggravated identity fraud would be one of the charges? And is there any way he could see her potentially qualifying for safety valve, which could remove a minimum mandatory? It's just going to be crazy. What's going on, Robert? I need to have a conversation with you. Tom was just asking about you. Let me know if you want, shoot me a text. If you're available, we'll have a conversation after the video. But 8 people watching and only 3 thumbs up. I know you telling Hype Man Coyote's telling you guys to hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. There's no you can hit the thumbs down button too. Maybe you don't like it. Hit the thumbs down button if you don't like it. But if you do like it, thumbs up. So there's really not much about this video today other than be very careful if you're out there and you're suffering right now and you're thinking desperation, you need to do something, and SBA is an easy target. They are not an easy target. It might be easy, immediate gratification, but that shit's going to come with consequences. That is a hook that you're not getting off of. It's the government. You're stealing from the government. You're better off stealing from a bunch of little old ladies than you are stealing from the government, because they care about one thing only. And you know what that is: getting their money back and putting your butt in prison, and no mercy. Zero. Nada. When we read the government's responses on some of these, because, you know, we do a lot of motions and prepare a lot of motions through our legal team on the document preparation side for attorneys that are going to file some of these motions, asking for things like compassionate release. And of course, the judge will usually ask and give the government a deadline to respond before the judge gives, you know, order or directive of what he's going to do ultimately. And when we read the responses from the government on how they respond, it's such bullshit. The government's response is 99% of the time is some cookie cutter. You know, that's one of the things we tell you guys is when we do our writings and our narratives, nothing is cookie cutter. When you read writings back from the government, almost across, doesn't matter what district you're reading them from, it's such bullshit. You read their reason why somebody shouldn't be getting something. And we're talking about these individuals are at high risk for not just catching COVID, but we're talking people that are extremely overweight, have severe problems, have high blood pressure, all kinds of issues going on that would technically give them a possible death sentence if they were to be sent into an environment like this. And the government responds with the most just off the wall shit, like the BOP has it under control, and they've taken the measures to make sure that the people are going to be quarantined properly and segregated properly. And it's like, no, we know that's complete bullshit. And the fact that that's their response is telling you that they would rather just keep you in prison and make up a bunch of lies than have somebody potentially live a longer life and not spread this disease or this virus throughout the prison system even further. So it's an uphill battle. And guys are just, thank God that Tom is amazing at what he does, because he's able to write responses to those responses just so the judge has something to chew on before he spits out his decision. Coyote, what is aggravated identity fraud? So like the lady I spoke to on the phone today, she basically applied for SBA. It was the SBA disaster relief loan. This one right here. I'll pull it up again just so you guys can see it. She applied for this. And let me hide Prophet's message there. So she applied. She basically went through this process, filled everything out, which is very much no brainer. Like you can literally do this application in probably under 5 minutes if you're flying through it. And she supplied some basic information, but she did it in somebody else's name, Coyote, which means she had some of their personal information, name, phone numbers, social security numbers, things like this. And she used somebody else's identity to gain access to ill-gotten funds that don't belong to her for a purpose that doesn't even exist because there was no businesses in place. So these are loans to help small businesses under 500 employees to maintain their business and stay afloat through this rough time, to continue to pay, to keep people employed. This is I think maybe they thought it was cheaper to do this than it was to pay, the rest of the world unemployment. But the problem is there was many chinks in the armor and they didn't have time to fill all the gaps. So now they're sweeping back through and they're realizing that a big portion of the loans that were given were fraudulent loans. So when that comes down, in addition to all of the other charges, the fact that the identity was used in an aggravated manner, that's going to be minimum mandatories. And who knows how many, I don't know how many people she did this with. So it might be multiple counts of aggravated identity fraud, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people. Ultimately when she takes some sort of a plea deal, maybe some of those will get reduced to 1 count, 2 counts, who knows? But and it's not just a minimum mandatory of 24 months. It's 24 months in addition, because they can't give you just aggravated identity fraud. It's aggravated identity fraud will always piggyback another charge. So let's say it's a conspiracy, because there's multiple people involved. Conspiracy to, embezzle, whatever those charges are, and whatever those guidelines carry. And let's say those guidelines are, 48 to 60 months or whatever it is. So let's say they're recommending 48 months for that. It'd be that plus the minimum mandatory. So whatever sentence she would have gotten, it's going to add 2 years or 4 years based on how many charges she gets. So you can see how this can blow out of proportion real quick. And you're going from some simple white collar crime to 10, 15 years sitting in prison for a stupid mistake that you have nothing to show for it. And this is why, while I was talking to her on the phone, as much as I wanted to have sympathy for her, it's like, what did you think was going to happen? That was some serious intent. When she said she blew through the money that fast, my immediate reaction was, I asked her, are you a drug addict or a gambler? Because that would have been the only real viable answer to me that would cause somebody to do that. And she said she's never touched drugs. She said she's not a gambler, but to go blow money in, not the stock market, but foreign currencies. If anybody knows anything about foreign currencies, day traders, any of you Series 3 commodities brokers out there, it's a form of gambling. And to go through $300,000 that fast, you made some high risk moves. This wasn't like playing the long game. This was probably hedging on options or currency options where you got all your strike prices. And if it doesn't hit in 30 days, you're fucking out your money. So clearly there might be some gambling addiction there. Hopefully she can use that to her advantage when she does talk to her attorney. But I have a feeling, even after talking to me today, the only advice I gave her, as I stressed many, many times to her that I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to give you legal advice, but the advice I will give you is to call the attorney and tell them everything, but truthfully. Don't lead the narrative on what you think sounds better because you feel like you fucked up so bad that you can't even hear yourself say it. that's a big problem that you see with a lot of individuals, is when they do start owning up what they did and they start talking to their attorneys about it. It's sometimes they don't completely come forth with all the proper information because they don't even want to hear what a scumbag they are in their own mind. Not that you're a scumbag, but how you're seeing yourself now. And it sounds so scumbaggy when you say it out loud. When we repeat the crimes that we did, when we talk about what we actually did, and you're real honest with yourself, and you look back at it, it's like, God, I really did that. And that's, those are hard facts to hear sometimes. So Ruth Spears, of course she knew what she was doing. There's no question. I mean, it's not like she tripped over this and she accidentally wrote somebody else's name down and accidentally used her own information and bank account to receive the funds. And when she originally told it to me, she said they were all in on it. And I said, well, what happens when they don't get the money? What are you going to tell them? These loans are from the time that you apply for one of these loans, and from application to like pre-approval to submitting your documents, it's all within like 2 weeks, and the funds are in your bank. Like, boom, they're there. It's like miracle, poof, there's your money. Go grow your business. And no oversight, no babysitting, no hand holding. So for a lot of people, it's dangerous, very dangerous. You have somebody that's been in business for 6 months that, maybe started with, like, if you would have gave me this money when we first started Prison Time Consulting, we were small, we were figuring out what to do. We were, nickel and diming with accountants and bookkeepers, just trying to like manage something basic. If you would have dumped that sum of money in my lap in 2016, I don't know what kind of bad decisions I would have made. But I can tell you from 2016 to now, and listening to horror story after horror story from clients that have gone through something similar to where mismanaging or misappropriating funds and LLCs and corporations and not paying their taxes right or not reporting all of their taxes and seeing the devastating consequences that follow. I can tell you the first thing we did when the money actually came in is I said, it doesn't exist until the bookkeeper looks over everything. I wanted to go through the last couple of years of taxes, make sure we didn't miss anything, just make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted, because low hanging fruit, I might be a target already. You never know. Ex-felon gets money. Like, let's go look at like who's easy to go after first. Ex-felons, they probably got a track record for making shitty decisions, right? So let's tag everybody that's got a felony on their record that's gotten this money. Let's see what they're doing. Well, what's this company? Federal Prison Time Consulting. Helps people get ready to go to prison. That sounds like some bullshit. And that's what we hear from a lot of people. You do what? You're a prison consultant? What exactly do you do? In the manner of their voice and the tone they're saying it in, what you're really hearing is going, that sounds like a fucking scam. How are you convincing people to give you their money? And we've seen even comments posted in some of these or some of these videos before, like, why would anybody give this guy money? This information's all out there for free. And until somebody's gone through our program, I can understand why they would think that, especially when you see companies like Rdap law consultants who got indicted, and you hear these horror stories and you tend to like tag everything now is the same, right? Oh, no one's going to do anything any different. So I get why people think these things. And I don't judge them for it. My job is to, well, if you're going to ask me, I'll explain it to you. And if you still choose to turn a blind eye and still think that we're doing is telling you how to get into Rdap and how to protect yourself in prison and some, we're going to give you a basic template letter and peace, see you later, then we're not the right fit. But when people truly understand what we do and the value it carries, and not everybody is taking full advantage of the value. Some individuals will get really down and out on themselves, and they go into a deep, dark funk to where it could be as if, you wasted your money with us, because it's not a magic potion. It's not a miracle. It requires hard work and effort on your part. And, you've got cards stacked against you for sure. You've got guideline ranges. You've got ugly plea deals you're looking at. You've got pre-sentence reports that scare the hell out of anybody when you read them. So a defeated mindset is easy to adapt to, and it's also easier than working through it. But the individuals that push through, you'll see, we like to call them miracles, but really it's, hard work creates positive results. And I'm not going to point out any names. D, we're here for you when you're ready to pick up the phone. But, everybody takes challenges and deals with life in a different way. Some people have to take the slow road. Some people, like I had a vasectomy last week. I guess I can share that with you guys, right? It's not too much TMI. We talk about everything here. I had a vasectomy last Friday. It'll be a week tomorrow. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified for the last couple of months, to the point where I was supposed to do it 2 other times in the last couple of years. And I chickened out for various reasons, from the anxiety of getting it done, from how the pain is going to be, from this is a very permanent solution. Maybe not completely permanent. Like, I know you can have them reversed, vasectomy reversals, but it's not as easy as getting it done. And you're going from, $700 charge to $7,000 to $10,000 for a reversal that insurance doesn't cover. So, reversals aren't common. So there was all of these fears going through my mind. And, I had the surgery last Friday, had a very cool doctor at a Boca Raton. I actually, if you send a message, a private message, I will send you. I have another YouTube channel that's just for, family fun and things like that, where I talk about life. And I did actually vlog the whole process of getting ready to go through it, the weeks before, talking about it, going to my consultations. And the doctor was real cool to let me film, and not film the gross part, but he let me commentate the actual surgery. So if anybody of you are interested in seeing my vasectomy journey, send me a text message to the number below and I'll send you the link. But yeah, and when you deal with these things, but you know what? Once I did it and I went through with it, the pain was minimal, very, very minimal. The certainty, of course, they numb you up there, so you don't feel no pain there. And I haven't been in pain since. I thought I was going to be bedridden for like the next 2 or 3 days. I got an ice pack, good to go, and 2 small incisions. Not even a week later, I was actually making videos the next day. I was doing videos on the weekend. You guys didn't know I was in pain because I wasn't in pain. So my point is you got to think what you're going to do. I don't know how we got so down the rabbit hole of that, but it's because this is what I do when I'm on here by myself. I just chop it up with you guys. We're not your typical prison consultant. We're not the guy that's going to make you feel like, if you're the white collar type and you're used to paying your way to get out of things, and you're used to talking to people that look and sound like you, and well, I want to hire the guy that plays golf on the weekends because he understands me better. I'm the guy that's going to get shit done for you at the end of the day. I'm not going to say other people won't, but I'm not going to blow smoke up your butt. I'm not going to try to relate to you in an unrelatable way. I am who I am. I've built a beautiful business on top of this exact persona right here. I have fun making the videos. I have an awesome team of individuals for the stuff that maybe I'm not great at, that they're great at. And we're able to kick some ass through the industry and really give people what it is that they're looking for. And, we're affordable. We're not the cheapest guy in the neighborhood. We're definitely not the most expensive guy in the neighborhood. There's individuals out there that they want 30, 40, 50 grand, up to 6 figures. Some of these prison consultants are asking for, and, your consulting fee is going to come with a book. I mean, the fuck do you want to write a book for right now? Write a book when you're done. Start writing your book in prison. If you're going to go pay a prison consultant because you're already worried about a book, you're not taking it serious. So guys, take one day at a time. Think about what you're doing. Do your due diligence. We're going to have a really fun video with Tom Root next week. And we really want to get this. So think about it. Whoever has questions for compassionate release, COVID, if you're willing to share with the community, you don't have to say your name. If you're willing to share with the community, we'll have the same technique next week where you can call in and we'll let you ask your question live. I would like you to text me the question so I know it's not like some off the wall question. And if we have to start screening calls to make sure we don't have, some psychos out there that just want to chime in and try to ruin everybody's fun, we'll do that too. But if you guys can, play fair, keep it nice, keep it cordial, then yeah, keep it respectful. You can ask your question live and we'll discuss it with you live, and then people can chime in, ask questions. Because, when you see the bottom of my screen here, if I remove the banner, let me remove the scrolling banner for just a second. If you see the bottom of the screen, people up in people communities method, that statement means a lot to anybody that has felt lost and they haven't been able to find a situation of where they should be going. Jenny's got a lot of stuff working on right now in the background, a lot of stuff, which is what we're using a lot of this money that we got from the SBA, but we're going to be doing some amazing services that are going to be much more affordable It's not going to have the exact hands-on that you're getting now, but for those of you that can't afford what we do right now, we are going to give you a packaged program that's going to have all of this. That's going to be more templated. It's going to be more do it yourself, but it's going to give you the resource. It's going to give you all of the tools. It will give you some calls. And then you can always upscale it from there. If you're like, well, let me get my feet wet. Let me see what I'm really getting into with these guys. So you make a small investment into that. And if you decide down the road that, hey, I need more than this, I need more hands-on than what I'm getting, that you'll be able to just supply the difference and move forward. But Jenny has been putting, and it's something we've been working on for months and months and months. It's a lot of work that goes into creating everything. And, you miscalculate what you think something's going to cost. That's why any of you that are out there getting ready to start a business, you really got to do your homework on what it costs to get into a business doing anything. You can have a fancy website, you can have a fancy business card, you can have great slogans, but if you don't have the money to market yourself, I've been real fortunate with YouTube, making that video before I went to prison, not even thinking about it, was the absolute best thing I ever could have done for my future, because it created an awesome career that provides for myself and my family, but it also has kept my honesty. It's kept my integrity. It's helped me stay focused on not allowing myself to get too complacent, hearing your stories day in, day out, day in, day out. Every time I have a bad day and I think of like, oh, I could just do this that one time, it's a reminder of it's never, ever worth it, guys. It's just not. So this channel has just been amazing in so many ways that I can never really give back what you guys have given to me, other than keep putting out content, keep sharing it, and trying to have a blast. Oh, I got the elbow cough. What is that? I know what elbow bump is, but we got an elbow cough. Not sure if I heard that one before. Coyote, what equipment do I use? Well, my microphone, you can't really see it, but I have it's called a Rodecaster. It's this whole piece of equipment right here that allows me to do cool things like this, or I can program all of the sounds into it, which is pretty cool. Like the podcasts, we have an intro for the podcast. Welcome to the Federal Prison Podcast. My name is Daniel Watt. That's all you get, because that's still in the works. Actually, it changed the name from Federal Prison Podcast to Federal Prison Radio. I also help wrongly convicted. Ruth, if you have a resume and you would like to share some of your information with us, I would be happy to look at what it is that you do. And maybe there's, that's how I got hooked up with Tom Root. I kept getting requests for services that I wasn't comfortable in offering because I wasn't well-rounded enough in what Tom does or what those people were searching for. A lot of it is very like a lot of legal mumbo jumbo that was just outside of my scope of understanding, because it's not something that I ever grasped or got too involved in. And I thought, I'm not going to go reinvent the wheel. I would rather bring in an expert that's already really good at what they're doing and pay them for their time and make it part of the service. That's why we have the Jennies and the Toms and the Caseys and the Shelleys and all of these people that have made things much easier for me, so I can focus on what it is that I'm good at, which is, I guess making videos. I got the fun job, but no, I love what we get to do, and I couldn't be more blessed. Sometimes it gets exhausting. Recording 2 or 3 videos in a day can definitely take a toll on you, to the point where I never go to the office, and I don't even know why. I guess we pay for the office address so you guys can send mail somewhere. But I even have another studio in my house where it's set up. But I like doing it right here out in the open. I'm basically, in my dining room with the kitchen behind me, and I have fun. It's easy for me. It feels good. And then I jump right from here and I get on the phone and I make the phone calls, and you guys will have some interesting stories. And I'm like, you know what? That's something that should be shared on YouTube. Others need to hear about this. So now we want to go to the next level. We want you guys to start calling in and talking about your stuff, because other people want to hear it. More people are going to tune in when they know we're talking to real people with real stories, with real problems that need real solutions, because your solution might be somebody else's solution. Your question might be somebody else's problem. So we start seeing this community's method thing come to light here, and we can create awesomeness together, but not by ourselves. There's enough for everybody to share the information. So let's fucking share the information, guys. All right. I think I'm probably going to go eat some lunch because it's 3:30 and I haven't stopped yet today. So Ruth, send me an email, dan@federalprisontime.com. My email is in the description of the video, so you're free to send me an email. All the links to stuff that like the SBA loan application, the all the different investigations going on with the SBA and finding it's all in the show notes in the description of the video. So feel free to use that information to your own advantage. Share this video, like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Text the word YouTube to 76626. Ruth, it's in the all the info you're looking for, Ruth, is all in the description of the video. So just click on the description and boom, you have it all. All right, guys, I'm Rdap Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting. You guys have an amazing weekend. We got a storm coming, so I'll probably tighten up and won't see you guys till Monday. Love you guys. See you soon. Be safe. If you did get the SBA loan, be very careful. Don't do anything stupid. Peace, guys.